What's up guys, it's the Sound Alchemist, and today I am back at it, bringing you guys 40 facts on the Warhammer 40k universe. This time, I'm going to be talking about the Necrons, and I'm going to be talking about a cryptech that controls time and uses it as weaponry. That's right guys, it is Orikan the Diviner. So without further ado, let's not waste time and get to this Necron lore. Orikan, aka the Diviner, is one of the most powerful of the Necron cryptechs, and he is a potent necromancer. Millennia ago, he was the astromancer of the Necron tier's empire-ruling Triarch, and one of the Silent King's, Sazarek's, most trusted counselors. Orikan was the only one to oppose the proposal of the Kakan Mefret Ran, the Deceiver, to grant the Necron tier immortality through the process of biotransference, as he foresaw it would end in a disaster. But his voice alone was ignored by the Triarch. Driven by a loyalty to his race, Orikan submitted to the process, and he became one of the undying Necrons, forever undead and soulless in an android body of living metal. Despite the loss of his soul, the biotransference procedure had an unexpected bonus for Orikan, as his already considerable powers had only expanded after he was freed from the limitations of valuable flesh. In the late 41st millennium, Orikan's mastery over the flow of time is such that he can actually walk back into the past in a limited manner, just enough to ensure his predictions never go awry. Orikan is a consummate astromancer, able to calculate the events of the future from the patterns of the stars. Thus did he know that the fall of the Eldar, the rise of man, the Horus heresy, and the coming of the Tyranids many thousands of Terran years before they came to pass. Through careful study and scrutiny, Orikan can even divine lesser occurrences, the movement of fleets, the destinies of individuals, even the strategies undertaken by campaigning armies, events not important enough to reshape the galaxy, but their foreknowledge of which can drastically change the fortunes of the beholder. Though they make use of his laborious studies, few amongst Orikan's peers truly trust him. This is not altogether to do with his skills, for all cryptechs are capable of techno-sorceries that defy belief. The unease that Orikan provokes is due chiefly to the mocking scorn with which he treats the nobility of every rank, and to the knowing gleam in his eye that implies he is partly to a joke that no other can perceive. Many an overlord would dearly like to see Orikan punished for his quiet insolence. However, not only is such a course of action impolite, the benefits of being able to call upon Orikan's skills greatly outweigh any offense caused by his manner, but it is also almost entirely impossible. Orikan knows of the plans of his rivals and enemies long before they do, and it is child's play for him to exploit such schemes to his personal advantage, an alteration that, more often than not, involves a fatal outcome for the original plotter. Skilled astromancer though he is, Orikan's predictions are not flawless. Unforeseen events can queer his calculations, wiping out and replacing his prophesized timeline. Warp travel is a constant aggravation, as its eddies and anarchies seem to delight in defying his predictions. Under such circumstances, to preserve his plans and reputation, Orikan is forced to employ a closely guarded set of chrononomadic abilities. Traveling backwards down his own timeline, he emerges in the past at a point at which he can set his prophesized vision on the future back on track, normally by having the interfacing factor destroyed in some manner. In Orikan's predictions, the Imperial Navy dockyards on Helios 5 should never have survived the onset of Wall Skullcrack, and did so only by an inconvenient intervention by the meddlesome Silver Skull's 4th Company. By retroactively arranging for the Space Marines to be ambushed and nearly wiped out by Necron forces some weeks earlier, Orikan ensured that the destruction of Helios 5 ultimately occurred as first foreseen. Thus were the Necrons able to reclaim much of the surrounding sector, but more importantly, thus was Orikan's reputation still kept intact. Yet Orikan has ever been sparing of such actions, for his meddling can birth all manner of unforeseen events. As a direct result of the Helios 5 affair, no less than 5 Space Marine chapters, including the Death Spectres, Howling Griffins, and the remainder of the Silver Skulls, descended upon Lazar's system to take revenge, utterly destroying the tomb world from whence Orikan's original commission had come. In that case, Orikan's culpability in the disaster remains secret, but it could have been easily gone otherwise. Orikan takes great care to keep his machinations hidden from his peers. Though chronomancy is a science practiced by many of cryptecs, no other is remotely capable of Orikan's feats, something that would increase 100-fold the suspicion in which he is held. And suspicion is the last thing that Orikan needs at this moment. 1,000 millennia of planning and preparations are about to come to fruition. For once the stars are in proper alignment, Orikan will finally embrace his true destiny. And now let's talk about the war gear for this chrononomadic individual. The Necrodermis. Like all Necrons, Orikan's body is built from the self-repairing living Necrodermis metal, granting him the unholy resilience common to his kind. Phase Shifter. Orikan always carries a defensive phase shifter. This device uses a form of unknown interdimensional science, rendering its bearer's form as hazy and indistinct, as though they were not completely corporeal. Shots and blows can then pass through the user's mechanical necrodermis body, meaning that even the most powerful weapons cannot harm him. This is because a phase shifter flickers the very fabric of its bearer into and out of a phase state as they move between dimensions. If improperly timed, even the most powerful blows and shots aimed at the bearer of a phase shifter instead pass through empty air. The Staff of Tomorrow. This unique example of advanced Necron time manipulation technology exists a fraction of a second ahead of any given moment in the normal time-space continuum. This property allows Orikan to strike at his target an instant before the foe even moves to do so. The staff can also penetrate all known forms of infantry armor in a similar way to a power weapon, further enhancing its devastating effect in melee. The Temporal Snares. A temporal snare is a Necron device that warps the fabric of space-time itself, creating a bubble of altered space-time where time flows more slowly for anyone or anything trapped within it. They are only carried by the cryptech Orikan. Each temporal snare is a technologically advanced temporal trap that can severely impede enemy movement once it is activated. Whether those trapped within its field are vehicles or infantry, it works the same. Thus, even when traversing the smoothest of terrains, once the snare is activated, enemy units can still find themselves moving at a snail's pace from the subjective perception of those observers outside of the device's range of effect. The Transdimensional Beamer. Orikan always carries a Transdimensional Beamer as a sidearm. This Necron weapon was originally designed as a convenient method of banishing unwanted debris, machinery, and failed experiments from tomb worlds and battlefields into a pocket dimension outside of the normal space-time continuum. However, a transdimensional beamer can be used just as easily to exile and banish foes to a long and horrifying death from starvation in the same extra-dimensional space. The stars are right. Wherever he goes, wherever he fights, there is always a chance that the stars will come into alignment and restore to Orikan a portion of ancient power. Whenever this happens, the body of Orikan confiscates with pent-up energy, and his prowess on the battlefield increases tenfold. However, such correct celestial alignments are often fleeting, and Orikan eventually powers down, sometimes mere minutes after he first received his initial empowerment. Time is a weapon like any other. If nothing else, I can simply wait for my foes to rot. Orikan the Diviner. So that's it, guys. That's all the lore I've got for this awesome cryptech of the Necrons. In my opinion, he is truly badass. I like all of his abilities, especially the, the little bubble of time. I don't know, I've always thought, you know, time manipulation, time travel, teleportation, all that stuff is pretty cool. And this guy can control it? Now that's just badass. Imagine if there's a Catan with that kind of power. Imagine all the destruction and utter chaos that can happen. But yeah, guys, please tell me down below what you guys think about this awesome Cryptek. Are there any other Crypteks you want me to cover? Again, any Necron character or any individual character, just suggest it down in the comments below. And don't forget, guys, we do have a Patreon page, so for a simple $1 a month, you guys can get more For the Greater Wall videos, giveaways, creepypastas, and all that fun stuff. You can head over to our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages so you guys can be updated on everything 40k, rumors, releases, sometimes even Age of Sigmar stuff gets on there, because who knows, we might do Age of Sigmar later on. But anyway, guys, that's all the time I have. I will stop blabbering on. And as always, you know me as a Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I am signing out.